All right, guys. Hello, welcome. This is the depression portion of the channel. We're having a group counseling session.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, no real structure here. We were just on the call talking about how this Saturday went and what the future of Georgia football looks like, and we realized we were overlapping with some of the points that probably would have been good for us to have on camera. So, all right. Thank you all for being here. If you're not already a subscriber, please do subscribe. We've got a lot of love in that department. Thank each and every single one of you. But yes, so just got the call to action out of the way. This is 3 and Out. Welcome back, Noah, Brandon.
Check.
So check. All right,
Yep.
as we were, gentlemen.
Yeah, I will say this was one of the weekends where I'm like, I need other hobbies.
Yeah.
I need like another healthy outlet in my life.
Yeah.
Because not a lot went right this weekend between Georgia and then the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Healthy outlets.
yeah.
Yeah, I need to pick up bird watching or like start building Legos again, something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Legos are expensive.
Legos have gotten very expensive, but that's a topic for another day. But yeah.
We're here to
healthier hobbies might be something smart to invest in.
Yeah, I will say, we were talking about this before we were recording. As a Georgia fan, I think, taking this loss a little better than I would have been maybe a few years ago before the national championships. I will say we have been pretty spoiled in the level of play, which is why this is kind of very disappointing, is, know how this team can play and the level they can play to.
Yeah.
Which is disappointing to see. But, the season's not over, luckily. With the first year of the 12-team playoff, that second loss is not the kiss of death like it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still all out in front of Georgia. You just got to go out there and beat Tennessee this weekend, which, albeit, is a tall task because Tennessee has played well. But however, you are the benefactor of playing at home in a night game. And I think we've talked about it in the past. It's going to be absolutely paramount that Sanford in its environment is the best it can be, I believe.
Yeah, it's crazy that at least in the SEC, it's funny how similar this season has been to the 2007 season, where
everybody's beating up on each other, man.
Yeah, there were no one-loss or undefeated teams in the SEC that year, and the 2-loss in conference play LSU Tigers ended up winning the national championship. So it's going to be interesting because you're looking at the Oregons of the world, pretty much. The only undefeated top 5 team, and it's like, yeah, they have one game on their schedule, where obviously they've proven they can do it, but I don't know. I think you got to find the balance between being battle tested and being beat up.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what's kind of set like in years past, especially last year, like the Pac-12.
Mm-hmm.
Washington came out of there alive, and they knew who they were because they had been in a lot of close games throughout the season. But I don't know. You can make the argument beat up versus battle tested, and I just hope that whoever comes out of the SEC, whichever handful of teams do so, are able to make a run at it. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
Realistically, how many teams could come out of the SEC? I haven't done the numbers on it. We're talking off the top of my head, like what, 4?
At least
potentially
3.
5.
5, 3 to 5.
3 to 5.
Yeah.
Up to 5.
It's going to be low-key the SEC Invitational, I think. There's so many, and I know a lot of people have been talking tiebreakers because we have been, but now more than ever, with there only being a few weeks left in the season, which is crazy to say. It feels like it just started yesterday, but we're nearing the end of the season, and there's a very real scenario where there's, I don't know how many teams in the SEC go 10-2, but there's like a 3 or 4 way tie.
Yeah.
10-2 to make the SEC championship.
there are 8 teams within a game of each other right now.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like the key matchups going into this week were Alabama LSU and Georgia Ole Miss, and the key matchups this week are Tennessee and Georgia, and then in a couple of weeks we got Texas A&M. So I think
That one's huge.
Yeah, that is huge
because is Texas in the driver's seat right now, technically, or is it
for the conference
to make the conference championship? Yeah.
Yes, with us losing, Texas currently controls their own destiny now.
Yeah. And A&M's their only big one, but
A&M is their only one.
They have to go to Kyle Field, right?
Yes, they are on the road at Arkansas. They host Kentucky, and then they head to Kyle Field.
Mm.
They don't get a bye either, which is tough. But I mean, they've already had their buys, so I mean, yeah.
I'll be honest. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, after Georgia, Tennessee has Vanderbilt in conference play, which is not a give me, but it's it's not going to Athens. It's going to Nashville, where teams go to die.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, nobody's safe in the SEC. I was just gonna say with A&M, low-key even going to Archie.
Mm-hmm.
Low-key a trap game, I think.
Low-key.
So you got to keep your head on straight if you want to do anything this year, because it's been a bloodbath, at least in the confines of the SEC.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, there's a real possibility that Tennessee goes 10-2, Texas A&M goes 10-2, Texas goes 10-2, Georgia finishes 10-2, Ole Miss finishes 10-2, and Alabama finishes 10-2, and then Missouri could also finish 10-2. I think. Well, let me double check the schedule.
Did you see what Drinkwitz just said?
Yeah.
During his presser, I think it was Sunday or after the game Saturday, he was like, "The playoff, yes, the playoff."
Yeah, it was like after the game. I saw the clip. He was like on the field.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Oh my god,
keep dreaming, baby.
Twitter was like, "No, bro, not
3,
you."
4, 5, 6. That's 7 teams. Jesus, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a real possibility that 7 teams in the SEC do end up 10-2. And that would all of that takes is for Georgia to beat Tennessee and for Texas to beat Texas A&M. No, Texas A&M to beat Texas. That's it. That's
2 very real outcomes.
Yes. So I don't know.
Yeah, man. I mean, first year being divisionless, a lot of the time it works itself out. It's looking like it may not work itself out this year. Just the way it's been a weird year. I think there's, the big players not really in the SEC. You have Oregon, obviously, kind of on a war path. Mm-hmm. Their biggest game being Ohio State at home. So maybe not, like you were saying, Drew, battle tested, but, they get the benefit of probably a first round bye if everything holds together for them. Yeah. So
it should. They should be able to put in their backup offensive line and win the rest of the game.
Yeah, I'm just saying if they rematch Ohio State in the conference championship, they'll have to have their wits about them. It's hard to beat a team twice.
It is. Especially at a neutral site.
Washington did it last year, so who knows?
Yeah, I mean, if it is a rematch, they would pretty much. I mean, relatively, they'd be in Ohio State's backyard compared to Oregon. So I don't know. It'd be interesting. And with Miami falling, there's a real possibility SMU could win the ACC.
That's so cool.
I love that. I'm so for that. We can keep recapping. I'd like to talk a little bit about the Miami game.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun one.
I've never rooted for Georgia Tech more.
I have not either. And they're scrappy. I'll give it to them. They'll hang with you. And the way Miami was playing this whole season, something like this was bound to happen. I'm surprised it hadn't happened already. Just off the top of my head, the Cal game, the Virginia Tech game on the final play of the game. Yep. I'm sure there's more examples out there, but they've been Louisville. Yeah. Yep. They have been doing the bare minimum to win some of these games, and Georgia Tech was able to capitalize. Their defense played their asses off.
Yes.
They kept Cam Ward in check. He was, I think, at that point, being touted by a lot of people as the Heisman frontrunner. I don't know what those odds look like now. They're shuffling around between Cam Ward and Genty and Travis Hunter.
But yeah, I know. I mean, it's crazy because even with Miami losing, just because of the way the ACC tiebreakers are and the way the schedule's just shaken out, since Clemson lost to Louisville, who Miami and SMU have already beaten, Miami's still in the driver's seat to make it to the conference championship game, which I think would be a fun one.
Yeah,
that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And
back to Georgia Tech, I think something that really impressed me is I think this was one of the more cohesive game plans in terms of using two quarterbacks, especially
definitely
on the stage that it was on against. Oh, there we go again. A top 10 team, top 5 team, that we've ever seen, honestly. And hats off to that Georgia Tech coaching staff. It was great.
Yeah. Was it Buster Faulkner? Is that the offense coordinator?
Yes.
Yeah.
Man called a hell of a game.
He called it hell of a game.
Hell of a game.
What was his name? The other quarterback, Philo. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Played his ass off. I mean, he had better stats to the air than Haynes King. I feel like Haynes King was more of like more of a traditional. I think Paul Johnson would have had a field day with this kid.
Oh,
because I mean, he is very much like a triple option Georgia Tech old school quarterback.
Yeah, I was gonna put Haynes King down as my dog of the week, strictly for his run game. Because, like you said, I mean, Philo came in, had 10 attempts for 67 yards and a touchdown. Haynes King. Now, to be fair, Haynes King did go 6 for 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like Haynes King, I didn't realize he went 6 for 6, but he went 6 for 6 for 32 yards and a touchdown, and then to cap it all off, had 20 rushes for 93 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, those were big rushes too, big moments. He's a hell of a player. Yeah. But I think I'm not always the biggest proponent of the dual quarterback system in the game plan, but as far as playing a game around that strategy, I think that's about as good as you can do it. Just playing to the strengths of each guy. Philo obviously probably the better arm on him. It appeared to be not as much of a threat on the ground, so they struck a pretty good balance in that game, and honestly did just enough offensively, and then their defense kind of cleaned it up in the back end, and kept Cam Ward in check more than anybody has pretty much this entire season. He didn't really have much going for him there, so I was thoroughly impressed.
Absolutely. I mean, when you win the time of possession battle by 9 minutes, keeping Cam Ward off the field, it's always a win.
Yeah, that's the formula.
That was part of the game plan.
I mean, Tech had, I saw it was something like 225-ish team rushing yards. It was a lot. I know they just controlled the line of scrimmage for most of the game.
271 rushing.
Wow.
Oof.
Yeah. So
no, it's impressive. And that's the underdog strategy, I think. You saw it with Vanderbilt against Alabama. That's more of a shootout, but I mean, you just got to you have to dictate the pace of the game. If you don't and you let them do what they want, it's not good. So, hats off to Tech. They gave Miami what a few other teams were trying to give them, and almost did earlier this season.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And bowl eligible.
Hell yeah.
For consecutive.
There you go.
Shout out to the Tech.
I mean, hey, that's not even a jab, honestly. That by their standards, that is getting up there.
Yeah,
for them. So
we've talked about it about multiple teams, multiple conferences. The moment you get your floor to be, 6, 7, 8, 9 wins, then you can start reaching for the stars.
That's where you start getting frisky.
Yeah, a 10-win season is not that far off for Georgia Tech. If they keep on
that's crazy to say. Yeah, for sure.
After the playoff?
I know. Hey, I mean, within the next couple of years, there's so much instability in the ACC that if you want to make a push, now's the time to do it. Because I was going to mention earlier, because last year we had kind of collectively, I feel like, called, Florida State's kind of, this is their time, they're taking it back. This year, it's kind of the thought that, we might see a Clemson reemergence, and we were poised to see one, get off to a rocky start, lose to Georgia in Atlanta, that's that. And then they were on a war path and then just got, snubbed out by Louisville. So, and with SMU and Miami's remaining schedule, I don't really know if they have much of a shot. I mean, it's not in their hands. It's not out of the question, but they're going to need some help.
I just don't think they have the strength of schedule to get there because, I mean, the two ranked opponents that they have played, I don't know if Louisville was ranked at the time they played, but the two best teams that they've played to this point have beat them. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
I mean, yeah. Like, when the CFP committee put them all the way down, what was it, 23 last week? Like, they pretty much said, hey, sorry, guys. Like, this
ain't the season, fellas. There's always next year, guys.
Yeah. Unless, I mean, I don't know. Is there a possibility where Miami loses to Syracuse in New York? Potentially. I mean,
Fran Brown, Kyle McCord. You never know.
Exactly. I mean, now, I don't see two losses on the remainder of SMU's schedule.
No.
Being Boston College, Virginia, and Cal. I don't see it.
Nope.
But
no.
Crazier things have happened, right?
Yeah. I'm rooting for SMU, though. That's
100%.
I love it. I love it. First year in the ACC, taking it the bull by its horns. Pony Express is back. So
back.
Fun to see, man.
It is. Love it. And they play fun football too.
They do. No, it's an entertaining watch, and I think for the ACC right now, I think the front office is kind of hoping for that Miami SMU matchup. I feel like that's the most marketable option by far. First year newcomer versus a blue blood and a sleeping giant that's been reawakened. I think it's a pretty damn good storyline.
I don't know if y'all have noticed this about the ACC, but they have unless it's like a Penn State Ohio State matchup kind of week for the Big Ten, like the ACC kind of has a stranglehold on the new slate, at least in my house. Like, and I've got 3 screens on it, so I'm watching 6 ACC teams battle it out. I don't know. They just seem to, and maybe
you ain't getting those quality matchups. I mean,
yeah, I mean they are quality matchups because it's like Boston College and Syracuse. That was a great game. I don't know. I think it's also just a product of the SEC moving to the night slate.
Yeah.
Mostly.
So, yeah.
I do, while we're kind of on the topic of TV, I do have one thing to bring up. Did you see the Penn State whiteout got relegated to Peacock?
I did not.
They put it on Peacock, and apparently I didn't watch it. I don't give NBC my money.
I didn't either.
Apparently the presentation was terrible. Like, people complaining on social media like how bad it was. Apparently the commentators were bad, the whole 9 yards. Just it's not good.
That's a tough look for a game of that magnitude. I mean, I know they don't usually pull it out against the best opponent, and I didn't watch it, so I don't know who they played. But I don't know. It's tough. At least they didn't get relegated to the CW or some shit.
Yeah. I mean, I think it goes back to Fox. The Big Noon just isn't working. Mm-hmm.
At least I can watch the CW. At least I have
the channel. Hey, you can listen to Tom Brenneman announce on the CW. Yeah, that's a fun watch.
Oh, man. I mean, no. The only time I give Peacock any money is during the Olympics.
And tourney season. Oh, wait, no. My brain was on CW still. Sorry. Yeah. CW is the tournament.
I was like, really? Peacock? Nice. Big Notre Dame fan.
Say Peacock. No one bats an eye.
Say Peacock. And
loses their minds.
the CFP committee.
Anyway.
Yeah. I was about to say this has gone off the rails.
Any other recap? Or
Bring
should
it
we
back
move
in.
into
Do you want to talk?
dogs?
Do you want to talk Bama LSU?
I think
at
we
all?
have to, even though I didn't.
Jalen Milroe legacy game.
Yeah.
He looked like he did against Georgia. I mean, he had it better on the ground throughout the whole game. At least Georgia bottled him up in the second half. He was a man on fire.
Yeah. I had a
That's the
function
big
the other
storyline.
day. Every time I looked up at that screen, he was running free in the secondary. Like it seemed like every time I looked up, he was scoring another touchdown. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's not a good scene when Death Valley is emptying in the third quarter.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yes. So in my
division, and LSU was the betting favorite in that game, correct?
No, they were 2.5-point dogs.
Gotcha. I had it flipped around. I knew somebody was a 2.5-point favorite in that game.
All good. But yeah, I also had money on LSU, so just add fuel to the fire. That is the Georgia fan experience on Saturday. So yeah, I turned it off after they went up by 2 scores. It's like, all right, well, this is over.
Valid. No sense in watching this and torturing myself.
No. But also, quick shout out to Colorado for having another come behind victory to keep their Big 12 championship game hopes alive. Excuse me.
You see those tortillas, man? That was crazy. They were throwing tortillas.
I know that was a thing.
Yeah. No, it's a thing, apparently. Did you see the ball boy almost fight?
Yeah.
Travis Hunter?
It was like, I mean, he's just doing his job. He needs the ball back.
Like, yeah, he does.
This isn't the NFL, number one.
Yeah. You just got to let it go sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
He might have been wrong to, like, swipe it, but...
Yeah. Did y'all happen to, staying in the Big 12, speaking of teams that had to come from behind had to keep their Big 12 championship hopes alive, did y'all see the ending of the BYU-Utah game?
I know there was a...
I saw a little bit of it. I did see the video of the Utah athletic director directly after the game ripping the conference a new one. So I'd like to know how much that's going to cost them. That's going to be a fat check.
$40K.
Ooh.
Yep. Damn, Brandon does not watch my TikToks, and that's okay.
Caught me. You caught me. Was that one of today's, at least?
Yeah. That was one of today's.
I'll go back and watch it, I promise. I love you.
Thanks. Mom. Give me a big smooch.
But $40K, yeah, I mean, hopefully you guys' money's worth in that statement, because I didn't watch all that game. I did hear, though, that Utah didn't put up any points in the second half. So, I mean, at that point, how much can you really blame the refs? I mean, I know they probably had some unfavorable calls, but...
Yeah, but when was the last time an athletic director did something like this?
That's a good point. Stepped in himself. Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, hold on, coach. I'm gonna let you finish, but the stage is yours next.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if he not crashed it, but usually I don't really watch post game pressers that much, even for Georgia, but I don't know if there's a dedicated time for let's talk to the athletic director. He probably just give me the microphone. Let me say what I need to say.
Yeah. It's not like, it's not like the head coach was sitting there mid-sentence and then the AD just came in and was like, I got something to get off my chest. He was posted up. He was
ready. He was like,
yeah. Did y'all see, sorry, we're still on this, yeah. I had another athletic director story to get to.
Oh. I just had, I was going to say something. Let's see.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. No, I got it. And it's one thing, he's obviously very frustrated, and it's one thing to go after the refs and do all of that, but on top of that, he went after the conference.
Yeah.
He's we were very excited to become members of the Big 12 and pretty much fuck that shit.
Yeah.
For lack
Is that
of
a
better.
direct quote? No.
You double the penalty. But yeah, I don't know. You just expect athletic directors to be a little bit more buttoned up, but I don't know. I don't hate it,
I like the fire.
but then yeah, I like the fire, but I don't know. You're not the coach. You're the AD. Like you're pretty much like, I don't know, held to a higher standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's maybe not his place, to be honest with you, because coach speaking everything. I'm sure Kyle Whittingham is the Utah head coach, correct?
Yep.
I doubt he would have ever said anything like that publicly.
No.
To be honest with you, you know what to say, but I guess at the end of the day, if he knew going into that he was going to get fined, so if he can cut the check and say fine, then whatever. But I mean, I don't know how long their deal is with the Big 12. Obviously, not a great look to be openly trashing them after they, took you as the Pac-12 was disintegrating and you weren't left with Washington State and Oregon State. So, not to say that Utah's on the level of them. They're kind of a higher level, pretty historical program, but still,
for the Big 12.
They were a good get.
They were a very good get.
I mean, they were in the last few years of its existence. They were a big player in the Pac-12.
Yeah,
winning it a few times even. So
right there behind the likes of Oregon and Washington, I guess, because they won the conference last year. But yeah, right there, USC even. Yeah. All right, Noah, you had an athletic director point you wanted to make.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the statement that Florida athletic director Scott, I believe it's Scott Strickland. I might be wrong about that. He put out basically a statement that says Billy Napier will return. He did not mention a timetable. I mean, he returned to his office, I'm sure, the day after that statement was released. I don't know if he's going to return for the 2025 season. That is remained to be seen, but I would assume it's for 2025. It was the funniest thing of all time, and I don't have the screenshot in front of me, but Texas is beating the brakes off of Florida, right? It's the third quarter, not a game at all. They find this man standing on the sidelines, Scott Strickland. Get the camera on his face, put his statement up next to his face, and then the score bug at the bottom. It's just like, it's poetic. It's poetic.
That's tough. I mean, no one expected Florida to even compete in that game. So yeah. I think the timing of the announcement would have been worse after the Texas game.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But
you just play a pretty big rival pretty close. I mean, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. But it is funny. It's like with how vague he was, it sounded like you remember that stretch where Marvel would put it at the end of the post-end credit scene and just be like,
Doctor
Billy
Strange
Napier will return. Yeah, Captain America will return. It's kind of like that. We're not going to tell you in what movie. We're not going to tell you in what TV show, but they will be back.
He'll be back.
That'd be funny if the AD got every week he just tweets out Billy Napier kept his job for another week.
That'd be pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if I hate the move for them. I mean, where else do you turn?
They go get Bobo. I'd be happy to let them have Bobo.
Please and thank you. Yeah. I don't think you could cut a check large enough for Lane Kiffin right now. I know that's their main guy, but especially after this last weekend, they're not getting him away from Ole Miss. I could not see it.
I mean, he would have, the only thing about Florida is he would have better resources at Florida, and hypothetically, he would be able to bring most of his top 30 guys with him if he wanted to. Mm-hmm. If they wanted to leave Ole Miss, they could do so via the transfer portal. But why? You're a god in Oxford, and the expectations at Ole Miss probably like a 9-win season. 9-win season is acceptable at Ole Miss. A 9-win season is acceptable for now at Florida, but if you string together like 2 or 3 9-win seasons, then it's like, all right,
Yeah, that's the standard.
Yeah.
That's
let's
the
go
new
big
standard.
dog. Where's
It's the Dan Mullen special.
Yeah, where's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14? Like, all right, come on, let's get some hardware.
Florida's one of those schools,
Yeah.
like the Bama, the Georgia, they're held to, like, they can do it.
Yeah.
It is possible for you to win,
It's been
and
proven.
win consistently there because it's been done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, like, it's funny how, like, Florida is still holding themselves to that expectation. And, like, Auburn, right? Like, they did for a while, and now it's really
They've
not.
conceded.
But
It's tough.
We can all agree the pedigree of Florida is much higher than the pedigree of Auburn.
100%.
Correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Just making sure. Tennessee, Florida. Pedigree, expectation.
Florida.
More recently, Florida. Yeah, honestly.
I would agree. Okay. No,
With Tebow and that. I mean, they ran shit. Early 2000s. We're not that. I mean, it's been a while. We're not that far removed from it.
Yeah.
Like they can still see that in the rear view and be like, that's where we want to be.
Yeah.
So, in terms of Lane, if I'm him, I don't know if I want to. I have a longer leash at Ole Miss. He's raising that standard to maybe ascend to that eventually, and has kind of more realistic expectations.
Yeah.
Because like we were saying, you do that a couple years at Florida, that's your new expectation. You dip below that, you're in the danger zone.
Yep. I mean, yeah, Lane's got a nice gig in Oxford. I mean, he's got a cute dog. He's got a girlfriend half his age. I mean, he's living life.
Yeah.
So.
There you go.
There you have it. That's a nice bow on it. We're talking dogs now. Yeah, dogs, and then preview.
Yeah.
I can go first on dogs just because I've kind of already alluded to it.
Go for it.
It was Haynes King for Georgia Tech. Already read off his stats earlier, but I will provide you with a refresher. Haynes King only had 6 pass attempts, but he completed all 6 of them for 32 yards and a touchdown. The really exceptional performance that he put out was on the ground. He had 20 carries for 93 yards and a rushing touchdown, which in that offense, with how it's been established this year, like 93 yards isn't out of the ordinary, but like we mentioned earlier, with the way that Georgia Tech won and the time of possession and controlling the line of scrimmage and just keeping the ball out of Cam Ward's hands, Buster Faulkner and Haynes King and Aaron Philo, and on it, they executed it almost as perfectly as you could, even despite some key injuries. I mean, I know that Jamal Haynes had to come out of the game at one point. I'm pretty sure Eric Singleton also had to come out of the game at one point. Like, the backfield was just dropping like flies, and situationally for the quarterback to be able to step up and keep supplementing the run game like that in a game where you need the run game to work, I think speaks volumes. So,
yeah, I mean, we were saying earlier in the video, if you're watching the short cut up version, go watch the long video. I promise it's worth it. You'll love it. But I'm not the biggest fan of the 2 quarterback system, but if you're gonna do it, that is how you do it.
Yeah.
I think it meshed perfectly. Both guys got in their rhythm. They played to their strengths. It's not like you were switching them back and forth, having both guys do the same thing. They're doing what they needed to do, and when it was firing it on all cylinders, it was pretty unstoppable, at least for Miami that day.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. Good job, Haynes. Woo!
Yeah. Noah, you got yours?
Yeah. Drew, I feel as though I'm copying you somewhat because my guy did the exact same thing. kind of a lackluster day through the air, but on the ground, he just absolutely ate. That would be Jalen Milroe, the Alabama Crimson Tide quarterback. They won this game.
Not exactly the same.
Well, I mean, it's not the same, but it's ridiculous.
The same philosophy.
Same philosophy, yeah.
Okay.
Different on the execution,
Yes.
but
I was about to say not the same.
Not the same. Same. No,
the same vibe.
You're right. Same quality. Same type of player. Same prestige.
Same quality
Haynes
of
1,
win.
Jalen 2. That's
one A, one B.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If I'm starting a team, I'm choosing Haynes King. Anyway, Milroe went 12 of 18 through the air, 109 yards, but the real story is on the ground. 12 carries, 185 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns, including a 72-yard touchdown run. Just
unbelievable.
Killed him.
I mean, I want to see if he runs the 40 at the combine. Genuinely, he looks like the fastest person on the field at any time at the quarterback position. That kind of weapon, when it works correctly, is quite literally unstoppable.
Yep.
Especially when you have a downfield threat like Ryan Williams and guys out wide that can stretch the field, and you have to respect that as a DB. I mean, there's nobody to account for the quarterback, and if he can do that, and they can continue to do that, that's pretty much unbeatable, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Sadly, Brandon, I don't think you're going to get your wish because he does have that quality tape already, where he looks like the fastest.
He's not. If I were him, and I would not risk that.
I just want to see him run it, dude.
I would just love to know what the number is because
he'd break the combine record for quarterbacks.
Probably.
Absolutely, he would. I'm sure they can clock them on field. I know they have that advanced technology. You can see how fast they're going in game, but that's probably the closest we'll get. He's not going to risk going out there pulling a hammy, doing something fluky on it. I wouldn't. I would not.
At this point, if I'm Milroe, I don't even throw. I just show up and interview.
That's the trend that's going in. If you have enough good tape, why? Why do it?
And he's got good tape.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, just saying, Milroe's a freak, but Haynes King didn't throw an incompletion all day. So.
Hey, now. he's got him there.
Yeah, you got me.
Oh man, that's good stuff. You can't argue that 100% completion rate on the day.
I got no retort. There you go.
Well,
I roast my case. Brandon,
I'll wrap it because I could have taken either of those two guys. I was kind of like, I'll take Milroe. We'll see what Noah does, but
take a 330 spot guy.
I'm keeping it. I'm picking a nooner here, actually. I'm keeping it in the SEC. Pretty good stat line out of Quinn Ewers, to be honest with you. I know Florida's secondary was banged up, but look, the way I see it is that if Texas is going to win out and do anything in this postseason, it's going to be on the back of Quinn Ewers. Their biggest struggle in the Georgia game was, he got pressured a lot and did not have a very good performance. Even got benched at one point in favor for Arch Manning. In the second quarter, even, he came back and didn't really do much. He did more in the second half than he did in the first half, but still. Quarterback play in today's college football is paramount. And he did not have the stat line on the ground like those two other gentlemen that we just talked about did. However, he had 333 yards through the air and 5 touchdowns. So, I mean, Florida's secondary was banged up. Like I said, it was pretty much barbecue chicken all day, but going out there executing against a SEC opponent where, they just hung with Georgia. Florida's frisky. You can let them hang with you if you let them. They will hang with you if you let them. So just going ahead and putting that away and continuing to look good, I think, is why he's my pick, and we'll see what they can do for the rest of the season. He's going to be, like I said, he's going to be big in their continued success in the SEC championship and beyond. Looking forward to A&M at the end of the season.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's it for dogs, unless y'all have.
Yes, sir.
One other.
I do not have anything else.
The only
honestly
mention would be the South Carolina front seven for containing the legend that is Diego Pavia, but
I give it to Ole Miss's front seven. How about that? I'll be a good sport. Y'all see that video? Y'all see that video where it was like two guys doing a swim move at the same time, untouched?
No, I did see the video.
Go check Twitter. I send it to y'all, but it's embarrassing, honestly. And I mean, Georgia's O-line didn't look very good, but at the same time, Ole Miss's front seven looked unstoppable.
I did see a video where Ole Miss rushed 4, and all 4 of them got in on the tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
It might have been that one. Or maybe it's like 2 separate instances. Who knows? That could be the case, honestly, I mean, with how things went.
Genuinely, the way that the offensive line was blocking on that play, I'm like, this had to have been a screen, right? Like, you're telling me all 5 of them got beat? There's no way.
With as often as they call screens, it could have been a screen. They call screens all the damn time.
Carson handed the ball off. That's the part that pisses me off.
Don't remind me.
Okay, all right.
I had an idea for a thumbnail, so I'm making it right now.
Oh, good.
It's gonna strike while the iron's hot.
It's gonna say depressed Georgia fans discuss.
Amen.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
But honorable mention to them. They kicked our fucking asses, so congratulations. Yes. They made us look childish.
Yes.
And maybe the philosophy is go out and buy the best front seven that money can buy you. I mean, hey, I'm not even being a sore loser. Like, genuinely, in today's college football at this point, seems like that's probably a very, very sound strategy.
I mean, he can't throw the ball if he doesn't have time to throw the ball.
No, there was a few plays. There was a few plays that looked like damn near, I'm playing NCAA Engage 8. You walk all of them up, you send 8 guys.
Yep.
And there's not enough blockers to account and can't complete a pass because you've got a guy in your face as soon as the ball hits your hands.
Yep.
So, but enough about that game. I could talk about it for a couple hours if you let me. So we'll move on. Thank God.
All right, guys. Moving on to preview content. Please, I'm begging you.
Please, let's move forward.
For the love of God.
Oh, sweet Jesus. But yes, if y'all have been hanging around this long, greatly appreciated. We're moving on to I believe, our final segment of the evening. Like I said, if you've been around this long, appreciate you. If you haven't already, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. It means a lot. We, kind of hit a plateau earlier, and then as soon as we're talking about switching things up, we get blessed again. So appreciate that. Also, short form has been great. Oh, excuse me, Jesus. Yes, all that being said, let's move on to preview content. We've got plenty to talk about, a couple ranked on ranked matchups. We're getting down to the end of the season, so every week matters for conference play. So yeah, boys, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Save the big one for last, or
I think we should
talk while it's fresh. Okay, save it for last. Good deal.
What other games we want to chat about? I'm looking through this slate. The only other ranked on ranked looks like Clemson and Pitt.
Clemson and Pitt.
I guess I had it wrong. I thought Indiana Ohio State was this weekend. I think that's.
I thought so too.
I thought
so too. The way they were talking about game day is like, it should have been. There's nowhere else for game day to go though.
No,
Ohio State is Northwestern.
Yes, it is next week.
Okay.
Is the Clash of Titans in the Big Ten.
Clemson, Pitt. Yeah, I mean, is
Indiana off this week? Ooh, Indiana is off this week.
Ooh, that's a real good timing for a bye week.
It is great. That's perfect.
That's hot. I would love to be in the locker room with Signetti giving a speech.
Google me, I win.
But yeah, Ohio State's probably going to take care of business against Northwestern. Texas is on the road at Arkansas. I believe we touched on it earlier. Potential trap game. Probably not, but potential.
Only a 13.5 point spread, according to ESPN. That's might be something to monitor.
Arky's frisky. They can't overlook them.
No.
That's for sure. If they're looking ahead to A&M, you can't overlook it.
Just ask Tennessee.
Exactly.
Pitt.
Could you imagine Arkansas knocking off Tennessee and Texas in the same season, and you still go, and you still have 4 losses. I mean, at the very least, I know you want to do that, but that's just kind of crazy.
Yeah. I mean, this is an old, isn't this an old Southwest Conference matchup? I believe so.
Geographically, it would make sense.
Thank you.
I know conferences aren't very geographical anymore, but back in the day, they erred on the side of logic. So I would believe that would be something that could be the case.
Yes, this is an old Southwest Conference matchup.
There you go. They are both in the Southwest. Very fitting.
That's true. I mean, hey, R.I.P. to the Southwest. Died in 1996. I did
before any of our days.
I did see back when I think the Pitbull Stadium got announced at FIU. They were like, okay, so this now opens the door to conferences being sponsored by companies. I was like, okay, hear me out, guys. Southwest Airlines sponsors the Big 12, and then Texas, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri all go back to the Big 12. Boom! Southwest Conference.
Southwest. We're bringing it back, baby.
That's right. Let's see. The other noon games, I mean, Colorado has to win against Utah to keep their Big 12 championship game hopes alive.
An angry Utah.
An angry Utah. Correct.
That's a good one.
Is that in Boulder? Or is that...
That's in Boulder, yeah.
Okay. It's in Boulder.
Colorado's a 10-point favorite.
I believe the big noon. It's on Fox at noon. That would be big noon.
There you go. That's what it is.
Because, I mean, Utah is fighting for bowl eligibility at this point. I mean, they're 4-5 with 3 games to go.
Can't slip up.
Cannot. I mean,
if they lose today, if they lose this weekend, they get one out. So
it's like that Brian Regan special. Is today a must-win game? No, we can lose today. We can lose today. That's a big one in the Big 12. I mean, I don't know. Boston
Alabama
College,
playing
SMU.
Mercer.
Hey now. They should go to Mercer one year.
That
would be hilarious. Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's like Missouri
meat and bacon.
Or was it Auburn? Was it Auburn or Missouri that went to UMass?
One of the two. I forget who it was, but yeah, that was this season. I was like, why the hell are we in UMass right now? I love that though. That's objectively hilarious to me.
It had to be for recruiting,
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, Boston College, SMU, that's not a cakewalk for SMU. Boston College is frisky. LSU, Florida, that's always a fun rivalry game.
I'm pretty sure Florida goes. Yeah, Florida goes. So Texas last week, LSU this week, and I'm pretty sure the weekend after that is Ole Miss. So they're getting their asses kicked through this stretch. That's a tough stretch of football.
But LSU could be on quit watch right now because last week was pretty much their elimination from the playoffs. So Florida can steal this.
LSU is only a 4-point favorite.
Exactly. So if they could steal bowl eligibility from this ass of a season,
that's a win.
There's potential.
It's a huge win.
Huge. I mean, does it help that Florida State has become the 132nd best team in the land? Yes, but oh man, Missouri, South Carolina, that should be fun. South Carolina is actually favored, which I find hilarious.
By 11.5 points. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Eli Drinkwitz is talking about the playoffs.
Okay. All right. Legitimately, if Missouri wins out, is there any way they make the playoffs?
No.
They need help. They need help.
A 10-2 SEC team.
Let's see.
Depends on how many other teams go 10-2 in the SEC.
Any good team Mizzou's played, they get
have
blown
lost.
out by. Not
That's
just
true.
lost. They get blown out by them.
Talking Texas A&M and Alabama.
They beat Vandy in overtime, which I mean that's a quality win. But that's
I remember watching that at your place, Noah.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have won that game.
No.
I mean
Vanderbilt had them.
They shouldn't have. I mean, Missouri had the 2 best games on their schedule. They have lost a combined 75-10.
Yeah.
So valid points, gentlemen. Valid
moments too big for them. They're pissing down their legs.
Yeah, I mean, kind of a sleepy week.
A little bit.
Which
But that's
means
where
it's
they
gonna.
get you.
I was about to say, which means it's gonna be the best week of November.
Yep.
Means Mexico State is beating Texas A&M.
Which honestly still wouldn't ruin Texas A&M's chances.
No, because it's not a conference loss. Which is insane, but yeah, I mean, playoffs wise, they're screwed, but
like at large,
it still cause some chaos. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. That's an interesting conversation.
I love how important conference games have become.
They're very, very important now.
Yeah,
now more than ever, because it's that much harder to make the conference title game without divisions.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I mean, I'm looking at outside the top 25, and I mean Liberty and UMass, barn burner.
When's the Cone Bowl? UConn, UMass, or has that already happened? We're gonna get age restricted for that.
Jesus Christ! All right,
come out and say it.
Legitimately, Tulane and Navy should be a fun game.
Yeah.
One of the more high-powered. God damn it! One of the more high-powered offenses in the Group of Five facing off against Navy. Kind of fallen from graces. Navy has, which is sad.
It's hard.
It's hard when they lost 2 games in a row. I mean, no one was going to discredit them for their loss to Notre Dame, but then they lost to Food, which is not good. So they're kind of on the outside looking in the American Conference. So that's tough. But yes,
Boise State looked better and better for that Group of 5 bid.
That's true. That's true. I mean, this game is huge for the American Conference because it currently goes Army, Tulane, and Navy in the conference standings. So this is big.
For any of you American Conference enjoyers out there.
Yeah, for the American.
The real ball watchers.
Yeah. I mean, I hate that this game is on at noon on a Saturday. I wish it was like a Friday night or a Thursday night game because I would definitely watch if it was a weeknight game. 100%.
Yeah. Might not get a slot on one of those televisions this time around.
I mean, yeah. There's really not that much outside of what we've already mentioned.
On to the big one.
That makes me mad about the college game day backlash. Like, where else?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I was on the same page as you because I was under the impression that everybody was pissed off because it should have been Indiana, Ohio State, which in that case I probably would have agreed with them.
Yeah.
But like, where the hell else are you going this week?
James Madison, Old Dominion, Troy,
exactly. Clemson,
Nebraska,
Pitt. I mean,
Nebraska, Southern Cal. Like, I mean,
Oregon, Wisconsin. Like, please, come on.
It's stupid. It's obviously the best game of the day. Very obviously the best game of the day. So
yeah. Well,
we can talk about it.
I was about to say, let's talk about the best game of the day. Like,
Georgia.
Do we want to talk about it?
Well, I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna preface this. This is the worst Georgia team of the last 4 years,
at least.
Arian Smith is the leading receiver on this team. I'm disgusted.
The highest amount of drops in the entire
FBS.
Division 1. Yeah, FBS.
That's crazy. Yep. We're up to a 10-point favorite somehow.
Is Nico playing?
Yeah, is Nico dead?
They're expecting him to play. Heupel said today during a presser that he should be good to go.
And I mean, a 10-point favorite, that's not even like a home field advantage bump. That's like,
no.
That's a healthy line. I think it's going to sneak more towards Tennessee's favor a little bit, if I had to guess. But I mean,
it opened at 8.5. It'll probably swing back the other way, if I had to guess.
Crazy. Which means that it opened with us being pretty much a touchdown favorite.
Yeah.
Or just under a touchdown, and then so like 5.5, and then 3 points for home field advantage.
I just hope the team that played in Texas shows up.
Maybe we just play well against orange teams. Maybe that's the thing.
I think that's a good theory. Well, it'll get put to the test here this weekend. I mean, obviously for Georgia, it's a must-win, and this is an elimination game. Plain and simple. This is the exact same thing Alabama was facing this past week. Their backs are against the wall. For Tennessee, not an elimination game for the playoff SEC championship. Maybe, who knows? But if you're Tennessee, this is the biggest game left in your schedule. What you need to get through to control your own destiny, to have the best season you've had in years and years and years. So they're going to be fired up for it.
If Tennessee loses by less than 10 points, I think their hopes are still alive for the postseason.
Yeah, I'd agree.
If they win, it's just, yeah.
Big old if.
Yeah, big if. If Tennessee wins, my wife will not be around to prevent me from punching a wall and getting blackout drunk. So
don't punch my wall, please.
I was about to say,
if you do
going
through.
Yeah, I would like to point out I have every intention of being there.
Okay.
I will not punch your wall. I might request a pillow or a mattress to punch.
I'll get blind drunk if we lose. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I might get blind drunk anyway. I might just be blind drunk to watch this game. I mean, honestly, this is look into the average Georgia fan's mind right now. We're keeping it real here. Coming off the worst performance in a while, at least with Alabama, there was life in the second half. Came back, led for half a second before Ryan Williams did his thing. This past game was piss poor front to back. The only good part was the first drive for the Georgia defense. After that, nothing. I mean, they were gift wrapped. Georgia was gift wrapped a touchdown with field position that first drive and almost didn't punch it in.
Yep. We have not played a regular season game that poorly since 2020.
Yeah.
And the Alabama game and the Florida game come to mind.
Yeah.
The last game that we played like that was the SEC championship last year. So that's literally 3 games in the last 4 years prior to this one we have played that poorly. And it's tough because like we've mentioned before, we have gotten spoiled. We have grown accustomed to complaining about only beating an SEC opponent by 14 points. I don't care if we beat Tennessee by half a point. Just win the game. I do not care. I don't care if the final score is 2-0. Win the game. I just feel
that's all that matters.
That's the mode we have to be in now, and hopefully that is enough to get this team to get the fire lit under their asses because and it's not all the players because I feel like a lot of it is play calling, and I know that's an easy out, but genuinely, I mean, listen, I played a lot of NCAA this summer and this fall, and I'll tell you, running 4 screens on the same drive doesn't work unless you have a run game that's dominating. And we're not. But what I would give to get Todd Monken back.
A lot.
So much.
Quite a bit.
I don't know what his contract with the Ravens is looking like, but if I'm Kirby, I'm like, listen, but you will never have to see the inside of a living room ever again. You will pretty much be a professional coach. You just draw up my plays and you call them for me, and I will do anything to make you happy. Hell, I'll give you the big office. Give you the big. I don't know.
Honestly, I mean, it was that offense was beautiful shit when he was at the helm.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously look, I'm not going to sit here and say that Carson Beck has the same weapons as Stetson did. He doesn't. With all the drops, it's not there. But, I mean, I'm not going to fully excuse it because of that. It's just a multitude of different things. And the screens, I've seen, film breakdowns of some of the screens, and it's like, oh, it could have been there if this person, blocked like this, or didn't miss their assignment here, or whatever. And it's like, maybe we should stop running so many if we can't get our shit together and run them correctly.
Yeah.
I know the big play potential is there, but if we can't get guys to stick to their assignments and communicate correctly to have them work, that's a problem in and of itself.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously blocking on the edge has been a problem. Jurasic is a name that comes to mind for me, with a lot of the bad feelings that I feel about this season. I'm sure he's a great kid. I was honestly excited for him coming in. Admittedly, I was like, okay, kid out of Stanford, he had some pretty good film. And I think he's just kind of the, not scapegoat, but kind of the essence of, getting transfer pieces that don't work out.
Yeah. I think I called him in the group chat during the game. I called him probably the worst player on the Georgia roster. Which, I mean...
I don't think that was a direct quote, but yes.
I think that was the essence of the message.
Yes.
Yeah.
A pass in the face mask. I mean, we can go on for another hour if we wanted to.
Him and
went wrong.
London and, it's what is it.
If we lose this Saturday, maybe we go live and just talk about it on live.
Yeah, honestly.
All right. Could be a good way to do it. Anyways, we need to get back to actually talking about the game, probably.
Preview.
I think Georgia with their backs against the wall. I think Georgia with their backs against the wall wins. I mean, I'm a Georgia fan. I'm going to say that, right? Yeah. I think they get it done at home, elimination game. If they can't get up for that, they don't deserve to do anything for the rest of the season, to be perfectly honest with you. This is the moment. If Kirby Smart doesn't have his guys ready and have a game plan that is foolproof, ready to go, then Georgia was not going to do anything for the rest of the season anyways. So we're going to find out what that looks like.
Yep. I mean, yeah. If we lose this game, then my mindset now changes, and it's like, okay, let's go lick our wounds, take care of UMass, prepare for Georgia Tech, and then enjoy our 6 weeks or however many more weeks of practice that we get, and let's start prepping for next season. Let's get on the recruiting trail. However, we have every opportunity to win this game. We have an elite defense. When the offense works, it works. We are at home. We have one of the best coaches in the country. And Tate Ratledge is back, thank God. I mean, he's been back, but, he is an integral part of that offensive line. We have every opportunity to win this. Nico is apparently banged up, but he is going. No, that's the expectation, correct?
That's the expectation.
Okay.
At 100%? We'll see.
Yeah, at 100%.
Was it a head injury?
There were rumors. It was really weird. There are rumors it's a concussion. There's rumors he had a seizure in the locker room at halftime.
Jesus.
It was weird, man. It's I haven't heard anything.
Like a Tua seizure?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
Hopefully that's not true. That's some scary shit.
Yeah.
I hope he's okay.
I hope so too.
And I'm not just saying this because he's the quarterback of the Tennessee Volunteers, but if you're not 100%, please God, do not go. Head injuries are nothing to mess with.
No.
All right. Anyway, let's assume Nico is playing. Even with Nico playing, the Tennessee offense has not performed that well compared to what they were doing pre-conference play. So they have holes. And as long as our front seven could take advantage of the Tennessee offensive line and get pressure on Nico, who, if he does play, probably won't be at 100%. And if we can force him to make bad decisions with the crowd behind us, get the savage pads out, I think that's what we're really missing. We are missing turnovers. The past couple of seasons, we have thrived on getting at least one turnover a game. Our turnover differential is in the red. Things are not going well in that department, so I think we need to get back to that on defense. Now, on offense, Tennessee has a feisty pass rush, so we I don't know. We've got to win the line of scrimmage. I mean,
Must.
Yeah. I mean, we've got to win the line of scrimmage. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We've got to be able to run the ball. Because if we are able to run the ball effectively, then they can't, rush upfield and try to get to the quarterback every time because they have to honor the run game. So then maybe that'll open Carson up to be able to step up in the pocket and actually deliver a throw. Yeah, I mean that's really all there is to it. I don't care if this fucking game is 3-0, 2-0, 7-3. I do not give a damn. Just win the game and win. Just win. Yeah, that's really all I
Yeah.
got.
Just one.
I agree with everything you guys are saying. I only have one other thing to call out. This is a legacy game for the Georgia student section and the Georgia fan base at
Yes.
large.
Absolutely, it is.
We have
Yes.
become spoiled. I mean, I haven't been to a game in 2 years. Sorry. I haven't been to a home game since I was a student. There we go.
There you go.
So in my absence, I apologize.
Oh my God.
They've gotten a little. No, I'm fucking with you.
They don't know. They don't want it like
They
we
don't
did.
want it. Yeah. But over the past couple of years, we've gotten very spoiled, very complacent in terms of creating the best home field advantage that we can.
Home schedule has also been lackluster.
Yeah.
Caveat, asterisk, just saying. Continue.
Next year, all that changes. We have
Yes, it does.
the schedule just flips, and we get all the big games at home, which is fantastic.
So this is a good game to springboard to next season.
Yes.
Carry on.
Yeah, just the complacency and honestly whiny, because if Kirby even has to take the time out of his pressers to talk about how he's disappointed in the fan show out and the crowd energy and all that, like, you're doing something wrong. I think it's been an issue. It was a little bit of an issue last year. It's even more of an issue this year. Athens UGA fans, they got to show up.
Yep.
It's going to be huge. And I mean, if there's any game to do it, it's this one. I heard the students are calling for a blackout. I know in a game like this, they're not going to wear the black jerseys. I know they won't. But hopefully with the student-led environment like that, it'll kind of give it that extra little boost, even if the team's not going to play into it. But biggest home game of the season, night game, Georgia hasn't got a lot of home night games recently just because, like Drew was saying, the quality of opponent in the home games has not really been there the past couple of years. So you're not getting those marquee primetime matchups, but they're going to have to come through and rattle Tennessee's offense. I mean, in my opinion, Tennessee's offense, like Drew was also saying earlier, hasn't really been as prolific through the air as it has been in years past. They've been more predicated on the ground game, which Georgia is a little more prone to stopping, in my opinion. So I think this game for Tennessee, the key to it is going to have to be Nico, and if they win, there's going to be a combination of their defense playing to their best and Nico through the air making some plays. So that environment needs to be there to throw that off.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you're going to Sanford Stadium on Saturday and you're not wearing black, why? Number one, like
the old heads.
Well, it's the old heads. Like, oh well, black's not our primary color. I'm like,
we lost to Alabama 20 years ago wearing black.
Yeah,
some shit
it's
like that.
It's like, dog. Like, I don't know. Silver is also not one of our fucking colors. Like that was, I don't know. And people are like, oh well, the silver britches are traditional. I'm like, Kirby wore red pants when he was a player.
Yeah.
So did Herschel. Like, I don't know. That's a whole other topic for another day.
We've had this conversation a couple of times.
Yes, bring back.
You're allowed to have fun and be able to be good at football at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive.
Especially if it's a fan environment. Like, okay, if you truly think the black jerseys are like black magic and taboo and we're not allowed to wear them against high quality opponents, you wearing a black shirt to the stadium is not going to make us lose. Now, to be fair, you're talking to a very superstitious person. I had to retire one of my old hats because we won 2 national championships with it. And I was like, okay, you've done your job. And it's just also fucking disgusting. It's my old Spike Squad hat. It's gross. It's seen. It has seen every weather condition except for snow. Let's put it that way. So I figured, hey, 2 natties, put it up. So I get it. Yeah, I get wearing like the same outfit or your game day jersey or whatever, but like I don't know. I just feel like you got to kind of follow the student's lead on this.
Yeah.
So I think it
For
adds
sure.
to the environment and gets the whole stadium rocking, which is what the Dogs need on Saturday.
Yeah, and if the students are coming out and saying, "Hey, we're doing this to make a better environment," with how it's been the rest of the season, why not? Why not help play into their hype for the game? I mean, they're the leaders of the environment in that stadium. So,
Yep. Good deal.
I think that does it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Good deal.
We can.
Yeah, Brandon, you want to close us out?
I can take us home. We appreciate you watching. If you've watched the long form all the way up until this point, good on you. We love you very much. Thank you for sticking around. If you're not watching the long form and you're just watching the preview for this upcoming week, we still love you, but please consider going to watch the longer one. I feel like this is better taken in its entirety as the vibe. However, I don't think it'll be taken away too much if you just watch the other videos. Whatever you watch means a lot to us, so we want to emphasize that, and thank you for being here. If you're not already subscribed, please do consider doing that. It helps us out a lot in our motivation and being able to make this content for you all throughout the season. There's the count right now, road to 1K, so we appreciate each and every one of you for any contribution you make in our YouTube journey. But yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.